the Hawks were bounced in the first round of each of the last 2 years. The Bruins were one and done in their title defense, and then were 11 minutes away from the exact same thing this year. Serious questions were being asked. Is Claude Julien the right coach for this team? Is Milan Lucic worn out his welcome? Maybe he's off for greener pastures, and a change of scenery could do him some good. And now here they are heading into the Stanley Cup Final, having gone 9-1 since. In the "what have you done for me lately" world of sports, is this proof that sometimes judgment is passed way too early these days?
Well, let's put it this way: at 6 minutes left in that Game 7,
Yeah,
Boston-Toronto, Mike Milbury, myself, and Keith Jones were in the studio wondering, does Claude Julien get fired? Who are they trading first? This is a debacle. So, and 10 minutes later, we saw one of the biggest comebacks in NHL history.
yeah.
So, I guess there are certain things that can happen that totally change your course of task. And Milan Lucic had a terrible season, was benched with 3-4 games left in the season, and all of a sudden he's leading this team. Probably better than anybody has ever thought that this team could play.
Yeah.
Milan Lucic has had a large role on that. Claude Julien again has created another set of lines and mixed the match that and put a system together that ousted probably the strongest team in the National Hockey League in 4 games.
Yeah.
It's amazing how things change, and coming into the finals, I'm really stumped at who has the upper hand here, because they're 2 totally different teams, I believe.
Jeremy Roenick joining us here on Tim and Sid. And so despite the fact that we have 2 of the last 3 Stanley Cup champions, both come into it with different starting goaltenders than they won their cup with. What are the odds that plays a factor in this series?
Well, I think goaltending plays a factor in every series, every playoff series. You're going to have your goaltender playing as good as possible in order to win.
But I mean the lack of experience in the big show.
No, these guys have, in order to get to this position, have had to go through an extreme amount of adversity and pressure, and they both responded. Especially, to see the shutouts, the lack of goals being scored against each team in the last 3 games to shut the door and close the series out when the pressure has been the most imminent and the hardest. They have performed the best. So I would expect no different coming into the finals.
Trying to figure out the special teams battle, and Jeremy Roenick joining me here on Tim No Sid today. The Hawks penalty kill has allowed just 3 goals on 58 chances. The Bruins PK didn't allow a goal to the Pittsburgh Penguins in 4 games, and both their power plays have been less than desirable. Is there an edge there, and is there any reason to describe that? Is there any way to kind of break that down, or is it just kind of an anomaly heading into this Cup Final?
Well, it's a new slate. You're starting a new series. You're playing a new team. Now, this is the first time that these 2 will play each other this year, because obviously of the less shortened season. So all they're going to have to go on is watching tape and what the coaches are going to tell them. So everything is feel for them, and everything is going to come down to their talents and to their the way that they know the game, and to make sure that their instincts are being trusted, because both these teams have the capabilities of scoring goals in the power play, and both of them are extremely well defensively versed. So, it's like I said, this is a very difficult one for me to handicap, because, like I said, I think they're 2 totally different teams and have strengths on opposite sides of both offense and defense.
So do you try and impose your will in a situation like that and do the things that you do well, or are you worried about adjusting to what the other team does well?
No, well, I think Boston learned learned a lesson and taught a lot of teams how to win in the playoffs, and not worry about so much what the other team does. Is their systems, their tendencies. You have to put a game plan into place, a system into place, how you're going to play your game, and you follow it all the way through. Like I said, Claude Julien had a perfect system set up for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they played that to a T for 4 games and made Pittsburgh look like a mediocre team. So it's all about you. It's not about the other team.
Jeremy Roenick joining us here on Tim and Sid, Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Score Television Network. You told us when Chicago was down 3-1 to the Detroit Red Wings that Jonathan Toews sent you a text saying, "We got this." Have you talked to him since? And did you think that he was going to have it at the tune of 7-1 since?
I haven't talked to him. No, it was one of those things. We said good luck, and he said, we got it, and it shows the leadership, and it shows the confidence that he has in this team and in himself. The team has been very, very focused, and coming back against Detroit was an incredible accomplishment for this team, and it just tells me that this team believes that they can win every single game that they step onto the ice, and when you have that feeling as a team, you become very difficult to beat.
Brian Bickell's making $600,000 a year and is an unrestricted free agent, and you could argue has been one of the, if not the most valuable player on this Chicago team. How much money has he made himself?
He has definitely made himself a nice little raise. There's no question that certain players have these moments in their careers that make their careers, and Brian Bickell has done that in this playoff series and this playoff season. He is, he's not known as a goal scorer, and I still don't know if he is a goal scorer, but he's definitely shown the ability to raise his game in the big games. So that being said, he is going to have a nice bunch of teams trying to get him in the off season if by chance is he restricted free agent, unrestricted?
I'm pretty sure he's UFA, but I can double check it before we're done here.
Yeah, well, he's gonna. I think he at least tripled his market value of this year. That's for sure.
He's been an X factor. The Bruins got 15 goals from their D-men through these playoffs. Is there an X factor that you can see besides some of the guys that we've thrown out thus far that could make a difference once the series gets going on Wednesday?
I don't know if there's any X factors because I think we've seen pretty much everything that both these teams have to offer. The offense, I think the Stars are gonna determine who wins the Stanley Cup here. I think it's going to be a Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane. It's going to be Milan Lucic, Bergeron, Chara. We've seen Bickell and a lot of the secondary scorers for Chicago get them to this point. It hasn't so much been Jonathan Toews. It hasn't been Marian Hossa. It hasn't been Patrick Sharp in the last 4, 5, 6 games. It's been more the core players, but with the exception of Patrick Kane in Game 4. But I think the star players are going to be the star players, and whoever stars are the best are going to be hoisting the cup.
Jeremy Roenick joining us here, and the way you played the game, you're almost an honorary Canadian, JR, and you know that Canadian.
I am in my own mind, that's for sure.
You know that Canadians are always worried about how the game is accepted south of the border. We have 2 Original Six franchises, 2 seemingly really good hockey markets going toe-to-toe. I know Sports Illustrated had hockey on the front of some of their regional publications. Is this going to be big in the United States?
This will be the most watched, best ratings finals in the history of the National Hockey League, in my opinion. More people are going to watch this finals on NBC and across the country than any final that we've ever seen on television. So the hype, the markets, the teams, the history, all put together, it's without question going to be huge in the United States.